my very first live episode. I'm happy to be here. I'm super excited. Today, our episode is going to be about mothers. I'm giving all the moms out there their flowers. Uh, got a lot of videos loaded up for y'all. Where we're gonna focus on it. Moms are so important. I was blessed to have a wonderful mom, a grandmother, loving that took care of me and raised me, and made me the man I am today. Uh, And yeah, so I was to talk a little bit about my mom before we get into everything. I'll start with her. My mom, she was born with a disability. Most people know, but one thing I can always say about my mom is she always showed up with love. My mom was a huge protector, sometimes overbearing. Like I remember my mom walking me to school till I was like in the eighth grade. Used to get teased about it and stuff, but like now being a parent, like I got a full understanding. Like that was like her way of making sure that I was okay. I was the baby. She wanted to make sure I was safe. So like I would always, if I got in fights in school, I wouldn't tell her because I was scared that like she would like do something ridiculous, like pick me up from school. She was already taking me to school. But that's what I mostly remember is my mom being super protective. Even to this day, my mom, when I talk to her on the phone, I get off the phone with her. She's just like, as long as you're okay, I'm okay. And that's the type of person she is. She's like that with all her kids. She's like that with everybody. But before we get into other stuff, I got producer. Can you drop the first video for the ladies?
My mom, positive impact on my life. She is the most caring, the most loving. I honestly can't see life without her. Like, she's my best friend now that we're older. I can talk to her about anything. Like, yeah, as a kid I could, but now she's just everything. I couldn't imagine. As a child, I never seen her struggles. Like growing up now, I'm like, oh snaps, we was kind of like maybe poor, like, but I wouldn't have known. Whatever I asked for, she got for me. She was a full time mom, single mother, and a full time nurse. So she made time. She graduation, she was there. Birthday, she never missed. She never put her job before her kids. Me as a young mom, she never turned her back on me. She let me learn from my mistakes, but she always was there to catch me if something went wrong. My mom is my lifeline. Like now and from younger, she has my back no matter what. Like doesn't work now because she watches my kids. Like my mom is an awesome mom. Like, and I'm a hard pill to swallow. Like to take care of me comes with a lot, and she does it. She does it with no regrets. She does it with no animosity. Like she just does it. She's just there. She's the best. She's literally like the best mother ever. Like a lot of people say it, but I literally had the best mom ever.
So that was my good friend Renisha. I believe she's watching. I've known Renisha for like about 15 years. When I met her, she had one child. She's now a mom of five. Great mom. Really like handles her business. She has a really good network around her of people that love and support and everything. But I've met her kids a couple times. Like you know, how some people you meet their kids and you just like you think like you see a bad kid jumping around them like her kids they well mannered. Please, thank you, hello, how you doing? Very respectful. And then her mom, like, shout out to her mom. Again, like, I want to focus on that, like, how basically she's kind of like the spitting image of her mom with her kids. Her mom is supportive of her, which is a big thing here. Where, because I feel like we don't, it's like not enough emphasis on that. Like, everybody knows, like, they just get moms out there, but you always only hear about the bad. And that's kind of going to be the focus of the show today. It's just like black moms, moms of color, who not only like pour into their daughters or pour into their sons, but if you everybody you're gonna see today is basically a branch off of that tree of how their mom is. The one thing I will say she had, I don't think it came in that video. One of her videos, she's like she can't wait for them to grow up. I agree with it. I can't wait till my kids grow up and they get out. Uh, but something else her mom did that I noticed in the video, like her mom shielded them from like the realities of what was going on. Like she's like, I didn't realize till we got older, like we were really struggling. And to me, that's a good trait of a parent. Your kids don't feel exactly what you're going through. Like that's really on us as parents. Like we got to handle it. They shouldn't know like a bill is late or the house might be cold or we don't have any food. They shouldn't feel none of that. I know I'm pretty sure everybody experiences that, but they really shouldn't feel none of that. Um, And just back to my mom real fast. So I wanted to like point out, like if you met my mom, some of y'all have, like my mom, she really lives like a full life. My mom's approaching 70. Hopefully have her for like 30, 40 more years. But she lived like a full life. And one of the biggest things about my mom is very like hard headed. So even to this day, like I'll tell her, like that's probably where I get my stubbornness from. You try to tell her like something is wrong, she still thinks she's your mom. So like I'll be telling my mom trying to do this, and she'll be like, "No, like do it that way." Even with her disability and stuff like that, she functions very well. Producer, can we play the second video?
My name is Melanie. I do not have any kids. I've never really thought about what kind of mother I wanted to be, but I knew that I wanted to be part of the village, if that makes sense. So, mom is a single mom, and she raised me in a strict, no nonsense household. But she also encouraged me to work hard and travel and follow my dreams and do whatever I want to do. So I don't have kids, and I was raised by a single mom. I had
Did it cut off? All right, so that was Mel. Mel's my good friend Mel. Mel, so I'm a big up Mel. Y'all probably hear me talk about Mel a lot. Mel has a podcast, um, Basic and Bougie Podcast. She is a nurse. She's a dog mom, which she left out. But her, as you heard there, like her mom was very stern. She was a single mom, but she raised her. Mel is very successful. She's surrounded by other strong women. She has an older sister that pushes her, encourages her. Happy Nurses Week, Mel. It is Nurses Week, but that is my dog. Like I'll support her in anything she do, because that's the type of person she is. She'll support me in anything I do. I met her. Good gosh, I'm old. Probably about 15 years ago. We went to school together, but our friendship actually developed after high school. But just a dope ass woman. And again, we just bigging up dope women, dope moms today. Producer, can you play the next video? Producer.
Hi, my name's Tammy Hairston. I do not currently have any living children. I would hope that if I were ever blessed to have children, that I could be the strength that my kids needed, that I can be present, I can be a safe space for my kids. And that's something that I got from being raised by my grandmother. She was one of the strongest women that I knew. And one of the benefits of being raised by a grandmother from the South is you learn strength very quickly and easily, and how to navigate different situations and difficult situations. And you learn that at any point in your life, things can become easy, things can become hard. I also got to say that from the other women in my life, the people who adopted me, those women were amazing, and it was a blessing. It was definitely a blessing to have people love me and love on me when I could not love myself. And that's what I think that I would want to be for my children. And I hope that I'm that way for my nieces and my nephews and my goddaughters, that I'm that safe space, I'm that strength, that they know no matter what, I am here for them, and that they will be forever loved. I am eternally grateful to have been chosen to be someone's daughter, someone's granddaughter, whether it was by birth, by blood, by choice. And I think that's what Mother's Day means to me. I usually find this day every year very difficult as someone who's lost mothers, as someone who lost a child. But I have found a blessing in that. And I'm thankful, most thankful to the Most High for those that He's placed in my life that I can love on and instill the things that were instilled in me. So, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And I'm really thankful to my younger brother, Ron, for allowing me to be a part of his project.
I'm so glad she referred to me as younger. But as y'all know, that's my older sister Tammy. She doesn't have any kids, but Tammy is she is the aunt that spoils all of my kids. She buys them whatever they want. She picks Jordan up throughout the week for me. You hear me talk about her a lot. Every time Jordan comes in the house, Jordan has McDonald's, no matter what. I tell her all the time, don't give her McDonald's, but she's that aunt that spoils all the kids. She's a great aunt. She's an even better sister. We grew up in the same household. Obviously, we were raised by my mom and my grandma. Just been through the struggle, like we've seen it all. So that down south upbringing. My folks are from down south. Just that way, like that nature. You've been around me. You see how I am with my kids. Just real respectful, even down to like taking your hat when you come off in the house. Those are the things that were instilled in us as kids by women. There wasn't a man in the house. My uncles were in and out, but we were raised by women, on their own. A couple stats that I had looked up. So over 4.1 million black families in America are ran by single black mothers. To me, that's a lot. 4.1 million of anything is a lot. And then also that black women, well, black mothers have the highest rate of domestic abuse. Hence to my shirt, like we really need to protect our black women and women of color. Like we know domestic violence is a real issue in the black community and communities, period. But I just want to put an emphasis on like just dudes that's out there, and I have a lot of male friends that have been in weird situations. I've been in situations like your best option is to just walk away, no matter how aggressive the other person is, because there's nothing to do in jail. And again, like you really, that's a battle that yeah, in a moment you're gonna win, but in the long term you're gonna lose. Producer, can we play the next video?
My name is Talisa. I have two daughters, 12 and 18. You can actually hear them in the background now. What does being a mother mean to me? It means everything. It is, I feel like that is one of my like core purposes here, core reasons of being here. It is the hardest job, but it's the one job that I'm certain of. Like if I'm not certain of nothing else, I know that I got this. What type of effect did my mother have on me? And I talked about this in like earlier episodes of like podcasts and stuff, but me and my mom started off with a really rocky relationship, like really rocky. Communication wise, nurturing wise, like on every level, we had a really rocky relationship. But it took me to realize and accept that she is human first before she's my mom, before she's my mother. And that allowed me a lot of room for grace. Prior to that, I didn't have it, and all I saw her as was my mom and all of the things that she, didn't do, or I felt like she could have done better and all this stuff. But recognizing that your parents are human first will hopefully help you deal with them as such. Like, yes, they're your parents, they're your mom and your dad, but they are human first. So, like I said, once I recognized that, I was able to view things, deal with them as such. Like, yes, they're your parents, they're your mom and your dad, but they are human first. So, like I said, once I recognized that, I was able to view things a little different. Like, it was things that she didn't know, that she had to learn, that she didn't have a chance to heal from because she had kids and all this, just so much stuff. And that is where our relationship started to like grow. On like a solid foundation. I would definitely say we have, and when I say this, like it's one of those type, if you know, but we absolutely have a mother older daughter relationship. Like she's the oldest of her siblings, I'm the oldest of mine, and that's my mom. So we have that type of relationship. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, I don't know. But my kids, I have an 18-year-old and I have a 12-year-old, and they're both at really, thank you, baby, really transitional phases in their life. 12 is the age where you're figuring out who you are.
So that was Talisa. Talisa, another friend from high school, really good friend, dope ass female, dope ass mom. Uh, so you probably seen her on 3 episodes now, or no, two. I got a third one coming with her. Uh, just a really good ass mom. She has two daughters, so she's a girl mom. She's an entrepreneur. She works a full time job. She's like everything. Like she has a she has a skincare line. And today I want to point out like all of these women, they're all like their only job isn't just like the job they go to work to. They have their at home job with the kids, and they go punch the clock for 8 hours or 40 hours or whatever. And then they're all like entrepreneurs. Everybody's doing something else. And again, I think that was just instilled in them by their parents. And the biggest thing that I loved about her, and she actually got me to understand. We was actually recording back in December about giving her mom grace and the understanding that her parents and her mom, they weren't, when they had kids, she was the oldest, they weren't even ready. They didn't know anything about it. Because for so long, even with my parents, there were certain things that just bugged me. So having a conversation with her, I was like, oh, like shit, like I had to put myself in them shoes. Like I didn't do everything right. You know what I mean? My first kid or my second kid or even my third kid. Even now, it's shit I'm still learning as a dad and as a parent. So, I mean, just giving your parents like grace, that's really huge. Also, I love the fact that she gives her kids like the space to like be themselves. What she goes on to talk about how like they're learning and one is 12 and one is 18. So, the way you parent them is totally different. The 12-year-old is kind of figuring out what they like and what kind of clothes they want to wear and, what crowd they want to run with. As with the 18-year-old is kind of like stepping into adulthood and figuring things out. Which again is just loving your kids unconditionally. She spoke about that, which is really important with any parent, mom or dad. Because there's times I'm pretty sure all of us we ready to kill our kids. I got teenagers. I have a teenager that's 16 that every day like I'm just ready to like yeah, and that happens, but just it being able to, basically my conversation with her was like able, like open my eyes about a lot of stuff, and I was actually helped me become a better parent and be a better son. Because again, it was some stuff like with my parents that I just looked at like, why did you do that? Like, why would you do that? But then I had to think like, if I was in that situation, how would I have handled it? I really don't know. Producer, can you play Chinwei's video?
Hey everybody, it's C. I have 5 children, ranging from the ages of 16 down to 2 years old. And my oldest and youngest, both of their birthdays are next week. Being a mom is the best thing that I could have ever done with my life, ever. I don't know where I would be or what I would do without my children. It has its ups and downs. Being a mom is very, very tiresome. It's very hard, but I make it work. It's not super easy, no matter if you have 1 kid, 2 kids, 5 kids, 10 kids. It's never easy. I learned how to be a great mom just from the way that I was raised, just from my mom, my grandmothers, my sisters, aunts, cousins, all the women in my life. Like, I wouldn't know what to do without them ever. My children are the light of my life, the best things that have ever happened to me. If I didn't do anything good in my life, I know being a mom, I'm great at it. You can't downplay anything that I do with my children. Good moms say bad words. So yes, I have my days and I'm flipping the lid and the roof off of my house because children will test you, but they are the best things. Little people, well, big people. My son is bigger than me, that have ever happened to me ever. I love being a mom. I love my children. I love children, period. If your child is ever in my care, I treat them as if they are my own. Just from the different personalities that each of my children have, I learn something new every day. You cannot take motherhood lightly because there are some days when I sit in the bathroom and I cry. Not because I don't want to be a mom, but because every day I still wake up and I figure and I think to myself, how the hell am I going to do this today? That is motherhood.
So Chen, I have known Chen, good gosh. I met Chen probably when I was like 26, 27. So about 10, 11 years. We used to work together down the street, KFC. When I met Chen, she had 2 kids. She had a boy and a girl. So everything she told you, like I know firsthand, like I've seen her go through it. You know, what I mean, like we instantly got really cool, got very close, even after not working together. She will absolutely take care of kids. There's been times she's reached out. She like see me online doing joint and she like, if you need me to do her hair, I'll do it. Which I'm gonna take up in that office very soon because I'm sick of doing Jordan's hair. But yeah, she is an outstanding mom, man. She's always had a job, always have done a job, helped in a house. She's a wife. She's either had a clothing line, she sells food, like she is getting to it, you know what I mean? And again, that's just the biggest thing here. And then even her talk about her cousins and her aunts and her mom and everything. Like the biggest thing here is it takes a village. Like you can't do this without other people or the right people pouring into you and teaching you how to be a mama, how to be a good parent. But yeah, just shout out to Chen. A lot of things she said, like I was always like very relatable to her because I remember she would come. I don't want to go too far, but she would come in. She would have like things going on with her kids, and I could relate to it because I have children. Like I understood it, which probably is what got us really to be close because the things she was going through, I was experiencing at the time. So yeah, shout out to Chen. She is a dope ass mom. Just always on her shit. Like you know what I mean. I'm super proud of her because it's just like we're only about a year or two apart, but it's like watching somebody grow up. Like I see her post her kids. Her son is like my height now. I remember when he was like smaller than the height of this table. But yeah, shout out to Shannon. Thank you for sending it. I really appreciate it. Producer, can we play the next video?
The time, because some people be like, oh, I wish I would have waited to have my, no, because it was through having them at the time that I had them that it forced me to level up. It forced me to pretty much get on my P's and Q's and make sure, like, it was motivation. Like my kids at the end of the day gave me so much motivation to like to be a better person overall and to, yeah. So for me, I was raised by my grandparents. So I spent a lot more time with my grandmother than I did my mother. My mother wasn't physically there. However, my mother always was willing to, give me her last. She was uh, there for, the most important, not the most important things, because obviously, most importantly, would have been like, you know, the everyday. However, at the end of the day, we have to understand that mothers are humans first. And we all have our own struggles and there's things that we have to go through, mentally, physically to prepare us to become the mother that we want to be. So, she was going through her own things and stuff like that. I was able to see that. And, it did affect me negatively for a very long time. And then I had to pretty much put myself in a position where it was like, I had to look at it from outside looking in, like, I can't judge her because she made certain choices. All I can do is learn from the mistakes that she made and ensure that I don't do those things with my offspring. Again, there's no handbook. Again, I'm not perfect. Again, I'm sure my kids will probably say, yeah, well, I don't like when you did this and I don't like when you did that. And I'm like, there's things that some mistakes I made and I'm like, why did I do that? I wish I would have did it this way. But again, everything happens for a reason. It's all a learning experience for everyone, unfortunately. But yeah, I was able to. So with my grandmother raising me, pretty much she was the doctor, she was the teacher, she was the spiritual guide, healer. She was so many things.
So that was my other sister, Dietra. And as you can see towards the end, she kind of got like choked up. So her grandmother, sweetest lady, one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my life. She raised her, her and her grandfather, they raised her, they took care. I mean, from basically pretty much since like almost birth. But she did, and she lost both her grandparents over the last couple of years. But let's talk about Deetra. Deetra, as long as I've known her, has always had a job. She was a young parent, but she didn't let that hold her back. She finished college. Not only went to college, finished college, Again, she's always had a job. She's always been responsible. She's always had her own. She's a great aunt to my kids. Again, for some reason, my kids seem to like everybody else more than they like me. Oh, and today is her birthday. So happy birthday, Deetra. I won't tell you her age, but back to her grandmom. Again, it's the emphasis here is about how women are like building and molding up other women, and I think that when you look at any probably civilization, any family, any colony, whatever, like it's probably all of the really hard work and like nurturing and stuff is being done by women, which is what I'm really trying to highlight here. And everybody that I've shown you so far, like they're literally like, because I know them, they're like the spit an image of their family or they, I guess you could say their predecessor, their parent or whatever. But yeah, shout out to Deisha. She's a dope ass mom. Her oldest daughter's in college right now. All her kids have great grades. You know, they're really good kids. They're not in the streets. Nobody's pregnant. Nobody's having kids. None of that. So I'm super proud of her. Even though I know I probably drive her crazy with some of the stuff I do. But yeah, that's my dog. That's my best friend, and I'm always gonna be here for her. Producer, can you play the next video? I think it's Ants.
What up? It's your boy Ant Money, and Brian posed this question: the impact your mother had on your life. I actually sat there and gave it really deep thought because I wanted to really let the question resonate before I answered it. And when I think about the impact that my mom had on me, I think my mom taught me more so than anything, just from her life, not even just something she said to me, is no matter what your environment is, you can evolved from there. My mom grew up in a house. It was a bunch of them. My grandmother came here from the South, not much with her. And my mom grew up in a house with a bunch of people. My mom could have easily just stayed in that environment and just did like the regular, what they expect black people to do, be on welfare, have a bunch of kids, not do much, but she didn't. She evolved from the environment that she came from, and she always pushed me to go further. And, you know, I didn't realize how much of an impact they had on my life until I just really sat and thought about it. And I'm forever grateful for her just pushing me through life, always being tough on me, because I think that, along with the guidance that I got from my dad, is what helped me to be the man I am today.
So that's Ant. You guys know Ant Rockmore. He's been on the show a couple times now. I'm always on his show. Super solid dude, really good friend, really good brother. And again, back to like any of us, I'm pretty sure everybody here that's watching can relate to the crowded house, your aunties, your cousins, everybody being in there, and everybody just finding a way. Like I remember growing up, and there's always somebody at my house, like always somebody at my grandma's house because that's where we lived at. And I don't mean two or three people. It would be like 10 people and three bedrooms, and we just figured the fuck out. And that's just how it was. She came from the South, very much like my parents. And I think the South really puts those like core values in, like respect, which is why me and Aunt probably click so well, because like a lot of the traits he has are similar to me. And you could just tell, again, like his mom and as well as his dad have like really guided him in his life and put him in direction so that he could be successful, because he's super successful. He's a dad. He has a daughter that he takes care of. He's super involved, and just overall just a good dude, man. So thanks, and I appreciate you participating and producing. I think we got one more video.
My mother was very loving, caring, like all mothers are. She was very tough, but she had a soft spot for me. I'm sorry to say that I lost her when I was 12, but I do remember the good times and bad. We didn't grow up with much, but we had an amazing, I still would say I had an amazing childhood. And there were other people that helped me when she was gone along the way. My best friend Ron's mom, his grandmother, Miss Jones, they were the best. They loved me as their own, and even though I didn't have my mother there, my grandmother, Ana Villera, they helped me with a tremendous amount of things and showed me love that I needed. There were people in my life that those people, you could tell that when I made my way through life and joined the military, that they were very, very proud of me, and I could see it when I would come over to their house. There was this pride you could tell, a mother's pride, um, and I think they felt like they had to take me under their wing because I lost my mother so young. I think the biggest thing I learned is how to be self-reliant, independent, and to make my way on my own. Um, I don't know if I would have made the same decisions if my mom was around, because I'd probably try to stay in Philly. Um, but yeah, it's great.
So that's my best friend, my brother. That's Lewis. I mean, he's it's pretty much my brother. It's like the brother I never had. I've known him since I was 3 years old. Funny story. So the way we met, my grandma was very particular about who she would let in the house. And one day, like we're in the house, we're playing Super Mario. Yeah, that's how old I am. No, on the first Nintendo, like with the little square rectangular controllers. And it's like this kid looking through the window. Of course, we was poor, so the door didn't have a screen. You could just like peek through. So this kid peeking through. My grandma's like, we've never seen him before. My grandma's like, oh, you want to come in? You come in. And it was so weird. Like, if you have a black grandma or a grandma or a abuela, they have like this sixth sense about good people. And it was so weird. We were looking like she never let anybody on the block in the house. We don't even know who this kid is, and she let him in. And the rest is history. Like we were best friends from that point on. He was at my wedding. I was at his wedding. He was my best man. I was his best man. Uh, and like our families kind of like got really cool. Like his mom would always be at my house. My grandmother would cook together. She would cook at his house, at their house, and we would go over there. Like we were just like one big like neighborly family. And it's his mom. So I want to talk about his mom a little bit from what I remember because she died when we were very young. He was 12, I was 11. But she always again like treated me like I was her son, like I was her own. When I would go out with them, like I was safe. And again, like my family, my mom, they wouldn't let me go anywhere with people, but like this particular family, like they just knew like you're gonna be safe with them, and vice versa. And I mean, it's sad that she passed away so young, but I still think like she put the qualities in him and made him to the man he is today. Because like Lewis is, he's probably gonna kill me, but Lewis is the perfect example of like how to get out of the hood. He had everything thrown at him that should have turned him into a criminal, a drug dealer, a drug user. I remember like we were in school. He dropped out and he like went and got his GED. He had a plan though. He said, "I'm going to the military. I'm going to retire from the military, and that's going to be my life." And shout out to him because literally he just put his papers in. He texted me the other day. His retirement is official on June 1st. So shout out to him. He did 21 years in the Coast Guard, fighting, defending the country. But again, that's super dope ass dude. His grandparents, after his mom passed away, he ended up going with them. His grandma was just like another just sweet lady, just really loving. I used to go over there. They would let me come over there and spend the night because they knew we were super tight. And we always been tight. Even like when we like moved away and you start having kids and stuff. I could still pick the phone up and talk to this guy about anything and vice versa, no matter what's going on. Uh, that guy will probably help me get rid of a dead body. Joke, joke. But even with my parents, like I remember like one day I came in, he had like dropped off his military picture, and they like took his picture and put it over top of my graduation picture, and I was like, I'm your son, you know what I'm saying? But they were so proud that he went and he accomplished everything that he said he was going to do. That's one thing I can say about him. If he says he's going to do it, he's going to fucking do it. Like he's always been that way ever since we were kids. If he sets his mind to something like it's a goal, something he wants to do, he does it. I'm super proud of him. He is like one of the greatest people I've had the pleasure of knowing. It kind of like beginning kind of got me choked when talking about my grandma because everything he said about my grandma is um is accurate. Like she was when his mom passed, like they were just like my grandma wanted him to live with us, but he had family and stuff. So obviously, but she was always telling him like you're always welcome here. You can come whenever you want. Like she always made sure he ate. Like that's just how the same way his mom treated me, like she treated him. So yeah, just shout out to him. I appreciate his friendship. Like he's like just a perfect person to have in your circle. He's good to my kids. He's good to me. I call my mom. She asks about him. She doesn't ask about me. I say, "Hey, mom, how you doing?" She's like, "I'm fine. How's Lewis?" And I'll be like, "Lewis is fine. I talked to him a couple days ago." And I wait for her to ask how I'm doing, and she doesn't, um, because she probably knows I'm okay. But yeah, like that's like her other son, which leads me to talk about my grandma. I really want to talk about my grandma because my grandma was like, so, she's like Big Mama. Like she was the person that made Sunday dinner every Sunday when we had food. She would cook big dinners, Christmas. So we were like, now I look back on it, we were like super fucking poor. Like we didn't have shit. There was like times we didn't have heat. Like the house would be cold, but come December 25th, the living room would be filled with Christmas gifts. And my grandma had this thing that she would not. So me and my sister lived with her. But if she couldn't get gifts for all of the grandkids, she wouldn't get not a single gift for nobody. Like that was her thing. She's like, "Yeah, I'll get you guys a bunch of stuff, but I need to be able to get at least one gift for every one of my grandkids and my great grands." That was her thing. And there was years where if there was one person she had enough money to get enough for, we didn't get nothing. Like we would get stuff in the house, but it would be very minimal. But I looking back on it, I don't know how they made miracles like out of nothing. My grandma didn't work. We survived off of government assistance, and I remember like my grandma used to sell 40s. So like back in the day, I'm that old. Back in like the 90s, she would sell 40 ounces, like old Englishes, for like I think $2.50. And people come out buying like she was making money off of it. Like that's I guess it was like a Spinkies now. Think about it, just kind of illegal. But she would always just make a way, and she would give you her last. I remember times like she had $40, she would give you 20. Like she was a definition of that, and which is probably why I'm kind of like such a giver. Like I really like to help people. I'm a little smarter with it. Not saying she wasn't, but I'm quicker to say no than she was. She would never say no. She would really give you her last. I remember how proud she was when I graduated, like because I was like on the cusp of graduating from high school. My 12th grade year was really rough. I was doing dumb shit. I got in trouble. I remember I got arrested, and like again, like to me it was just like, oh, I got arrested. Like I in hindsight, like I knew I was gonna be okay because I was a kid. But I remember we like went to like the proceeding, and they decided to let me stay in the school. She was like it was like a sigh of relief for her. She was like, "Thank you, Jesus." And again, a kid and an adult, like she understood like what that would have done for my life if I had to go to a different school or if I had to go to juvie or something like that, as where I'm a kid and I didn't get it. Hence being an adult now, and I'll be saying the same shit to my kids. I know she be like looking down on me like, ha ha, like, you know what I mean, like you're feeling everything you put us through. But my grandma was the best. Like I don't know any other way to put it. She always told me what I needed to hear. You know what I mean? Even if I didn't want to hear it, like I think I've told you before, the first girl I brought around her that I ended up being with, the day she met her, she told me, she was like, "That girl is gonna ruin your life." Like she told me that, and me, think with the wrong head. I'm all 18 high. I know what I'm doing, and lo and behold, she was absolutely right. Like she could look at you and tell if you were like a good person or if you were a bad person, if you were here to like bring mischief or to be negative. She could. Even a lot of my friends, like she would look at some of my friends, she'd be like, "I know he sells drugs." And I'd be like, "What are you talking about?" And she'd be right every time. And she'd be like, "I know he just goes to school." And she would be right. It's that intuition, and that's something that I think is missing today from like families in general. Nobody has a big mama. Nobody has an abuela. Nobody has a grandmom. Everybody's grandmom is 42 and they in the club and they trying to twerk and they trying to do all that. And I think with like the older generation, again, it was all about respect and doing the right thing and carrying yourself the right way, representing your family. Because again, I was actually terrified. Not to say I ain't getting no trouble, but I would be terrified to get caught outside the house doing something I had no business because I knew like whoever caught me had the right to whip my ass because my grandmother said so. I remember one time I cut school and my friend's mom saw me. She was like, "I'm gonna kick your ass and I'm gonna tell your grandma. You know, if I tell like it was and like you knew." And nowadays I just don't think we really have that, man. Um, what I do want to point out is I love how like Talisa was like recording. She was like in her element of like being a mom. Like she was like the kids were doing something, but then everybody. Renisha has a video that I didn't post. Like she was like she snuck in the bathroom to record, and like the kids were like walking in, and she's like, "See what I mean?" It's like it's a 24/7 job. I can't compare it to being a dad. because I honestly believe like being a mom is a lot harder than it is being a dad, because it's easier for us to just be like no, be stern and stand on that. Women gotta nurture, they gotta really like live in their love. They got, that's their space. Like we have the ability to be like the assholes and to be like the dad figure, because that's what the kids expect us to be. But the minute mom tries that, it doesn't work. Just I see that with my kids. My kids, like even throughout as they've grown up, like I would tell them no, and they have the ability to get that the opposite reaction from their mom. So I just want to thank everybody. Thank everybody for uh contributing, for taking the time out of your day to send those videos in. I do got a couple of special shout outs. My sister Tammy is graduating this Saturday with her master's. Of course I don't know in what because I didn't write it down, but she's graduating with from LaSalle with her master's. So shout out to her. My boy Jerome Gibson is graduating also with his bachelor's. His graduation is coming up. And again, Lewis just retired from the Coast Guard at the 21 years. And all of these people, again, they all have great moms. Jerome has a really cool ass mom. Like Rome mom be like cracking jokes on her. Like she's actually a cool ass mom, but she also stern and she's firm. And she raised him to be the man that he is. I don't think I have anything else for y'all. Before I go, I do want to plug the big exclusive. The big exclusive podcast is normally on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock. I'm here today, right now. It won't be that way next week. And my message for today is I got two messages actually. So my first message is that it takes a village. No matter how many kids you have, no matter where you come from, no matter what your background is. That's what I've learned as a parent. It really does take a village. It takes the right village. It takes knowing if you have, being able to know if you have a good mom, because everyone doesn't have a good mom. We're gonna just keep it all the way real. But I know people that were able to get free of that. They saw what their mom did wrong, and then they just did opposite of that. And my other message is protect Black women, protect all women of color, protect women in general. I think like there's not enough emphasis on that. Like we are protecting other things that we shouldn't be protecting. I don't want to say what it is, 'cause I don't want to get canceled. But we need to focus on that and just big up our women. And if you got a mom or a grandmom that you have still in your life, man, hug on them, love them, kiss on them, appreciate them, send them some flowers on Sunday, take them flowers on Sunday. If they're no longer with us, go to the cemetery. You know, that's what I do. I'll go to the cemetery, take some flowers to the cemetery, to my grandma's grave. You know, I'll conversate with her. You know, I know she sees everything that I'm doing. I hope she's super proud of me. I hope she doesn't see the things that I shouldn't be doing. But yeah, so thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for watching. And until next time, peace.